Drafting is one of the most difficult things in all of sports. No matter how much scouting takes place, nor how skilled an evaluator one is, it's always challenging to determine who will translate well to the next level. In fact, it's basically random. Some of the smartest teams will nail a draft or two, but then completely whiff on the next few. Take, for instance, the Seattle Seahawks. John Schneider built the Seattle dynasty by finding late value with star players like Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Byron Maxwell, and Malcolm Smith. Further, Schneider hit on each of his top 3 picks in the 2010 draft with Russell Okung, Earl Thomas, and Golden Tate. The 2011 draft with Wright, Sherman, Maxwell, and Smith all taken on day 3 was improbably successful. The odds of finding 4 huge contributors on a Super Bowl defense in the last 4 rounds of one draft is essentially impossible. KJ Wright has been a Pro Bowler, Sherman is one of the greatest corners in NFL history, Maxwell earned a huge contract from the Eagles, and Malcolm Smith was a Super Bowl MVP. In 2012, the Seahawks' first 3 picks were Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, and Wilson, a star edge rusher, a top 5 linebacker, and a top 5 quarterback. This 3-year run of drafting is one of the greatest stretches in NFL history. Yet with the same GM, same head coach, and much of the same scouting department, the Seahawks have struggled in recent drafts. In 2013, none of the Seahawks' top 5 picks are still in the NFL. Their first selection was the infamous Christian Michael, which tells you everything. Additionally, their top choices in the 2017 and 2018 drafts were awful. Malik McDowell is no longer in the NFL 2 years later, and Rashad Penny was a little-used backup as a rookie. If you look at any team, you'll notice this inconsistency in drafting. But just to further prove my point, let's glance at the greatest organization in the league, the New England Patriots. While in recent years Bill Belichick has found value with players such as Dietrich Wise, Trey Flowers, and Shaq Mason, his early picks have been terrible. In 2018, his top choice was Isaiah Wynn, who is yet to play for the Patriots. His top 2 picks in 2017 were Antonio Garcia, who has retired without ever suiting up for the Pats, and Derek Rivers, who has played in just 6 games over 2 full seasons. In 2016, Cyrus Jones was the first choice of the Pats and was an abject disaster, and both Malcolm Brown and Dominique Easley, first-round picks in 2015 and 2014 respectively, both failed to earn a second contract with the team. I say all of this just to demonstrate how hard it is to draft. No amount of preparation or intelligence can ever guarantee drafting success. However, every once in a while a team hits it out of the park. They nail every choice. And just like with the Seahawks, a good draft or two can propel a team into dynasty status. In 2018, the Indianapolis Colts did just that. This is the story of their draft. During the 2016 playoffs, Chris Ballard was introduced as the Indianapolis Colts general manager. Ballard replaced the hilariously incompetent Ryan Grigson and came to Indy with quite a bit of hype. He earned a strong reputation as the director of player personnel and football operations for the Kansas City Chiefs. Immediately, he got off on the right foot with the 2017 draft. He strengthened Indy's weak defense by adding talented secondary players Malik Hooker and Quincy Wilson, and revitalized the offense by drafting dynamic running back Marlon Mack. While the 2017 class was great, it pales in comparison to 2018. With the first pick, Ballard picked Notre Dame offensive guard Quenton Nelson 6th overall. While it's often controversial to take a guard that high, Nelson is simply a different animal. He's a phenomenal blocker in the run and pass game and has a nasty mean streak to boot. As a rookie, he was voted as a first-team All-Pro. In the second round, the Colts took Darius Leonard. Leonard, coming from South Carolina State, was relatively under the radar until he balled out at the Senior Bowl. As a rookie, Leonard racked up 163 tackles, 7 sacks, 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 4 forced fumbles. This was good enough to earn him first-team All-Pro status. It's the first time since 1965 that 2 rookies from the same team were both voted first-team All-Pro. Unfortunately for the rest of the league, the success of this draft class does not stop there. Braden Smith became a starter on a much-improved offensive line, and Kamoko Toure tallied 4 sacks in his inaugural NFL campaign. Tyquan Lewis was a key defensive lineman, Nyheim Hines proved to be an explosive offensive weapon, and Jordan Wilkins added depth to their backfield. Even both of their 7th-round picks, Matthew Adams and Zaire Franklin, earned key roles on special teams. The only 2 rookies that did not contribute were wide receivers Darius Fountain and Deion Kane. While Fountain bounced back and forth between the practice squad and active roster, Kane didn't get a chance to play due to an injury. In training camp, Kane was one of the best players on the field and looks destined to live up to the potential he displayed at Clemson. All in all, 9 of the 10 healthy rookies contributed to this team. Even more impressive is how good the Colts have been. They won 9 of their last 10 regular season contests, finishing 10-6. At the time of recording, they are fresh off stomping the Texans in the wildcard round and look destined for a deep playoff run. Not to mention, they are loaded with draft picks for the 2019 draft, have tons of cap space, and possess one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Simply put, the Colts are set up for greatness. In regards to the 2018 Colts class being the best ever, it's still far too early to know. They also face some pretty stiff competition. Many consider the Cowboys class of 1975 as the most productive draft class of any team in the common draft era. The group was known as the Dirty Dozen because 11 picks and 1 undrafted player made the final roster. This class was led by Hall of Fame defensive tackle Randy White, the 2nd overall pick in 75. 5 members of the class became Pro Bowlers: White, linebackers Thomas Henderson and Bob Brunig, tackle Pat Donovan, and guard Herbert Scott. 5 also started for the Cowboys during the Super Bowl win over the Denver Broncos following the 1977 season. The Steelers' 1974 class is often considered the best in NFL history for producing 4 Hall of Famers, twice as many as any other class. 1974 Steelers included Hall of Famers Jack Lambert, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and Mike Webster. More recently, in 2004, the Cardinals took Larry Fitzgerald, Carlos Dansby, and Darnell Dockett as their first 3 picks. As of 2017, this class still had 3 players in the league: Fitzgerald, Dansby, and defensive end Antonio Smith, who was taken in the 5th round. Further, in 2008, Matt Ryan led a deep 2008 Falcons class that also included tackle Sam Baker, linebacker Curtis Lofton, wide receiver Harry Douglas, safety Thomas Deku, and linebacker Troy Bierman. In 2008, the Falcons found their franchise quarterback and numerous other solid NFL players. Any way you look at it, it will be fascinating to document the progress of the Colts class for years to come. So now I ask you, do you think the 2018 Colts class will be the greatest class in NFL history? Comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell to receive notifications each time I upload. Also, feel free to consult the sources linked down below. Thank you.